Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Echo Underground podcast. I'm Shanique.
This is Mike.
And on this podcast, we're going to talk about movies, TV shows, and music. And today's episode is going to be about the new album by DJ Khaled called Grateful. So, Mike, what you think of this album?
Um, Short summary. I liked like it's pretty much an album of features, pretty much, and I think everything went together pretty well because like the chart toppers were on this album, and for the most part, it worked, and I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, DJ Khaled doesn't have any talent besides producing and like writing songs. So he won't, when you get an album by him, you're only going to get features anyway. But overall, this album is better than I thought it would be. Maybe because I've never listened to a full album by him, and then the stuff I've heard, I'm like, no. But I actually really enjoyed this album, and I guess we can get right into it. I guess I'm gonna start with my third choice for my favorite song, and I'm going to put. Actually, I'm the one, and that's the one with Justin Bieber, Quavo, Chance the Rapper, and Lil Wayne. Now, Lil Wayne was the weakest one on this song, but he didn't ruin it. And it was wildly different artists, but it worked for some reason. And I think that is a tribute to DJ Khaled's producing skills. He knew how to use the artist, and it made it work. And it's incredibly catchy. And my favorite part of this song is Chance the Rapper's verse. I think he had the best verse on the entire record. And then Justin Bieber carried the chorus.
Right.
So overall, that is definitely my number three. What about you?
My number three will actually go to Wild Thoughts with Bryson Tiller and Rihanna. I Both of them individually did pretty freaking well. Like credit to DJ Khaled for putting everything together as well as it was, because like the flow of everything just pretty much worked. Rihanna,
Maria.
it works. She pretty much works wherever you put her. And Bryson Tiller, I'm not really too kept up on him, to be honest. Like I hear him like here and there nowadays, but to be in his for his credit, he does do pretty good, and he works really well in conjunction with Rihanna. Like most artists do. It's kind of hard not to work well with Rihanna, but it's a really good one that I actually did. I think I did hear it before I listened to this album, but like I don't think I heard the whole song. But when I listened to the song all the way through, I was like, yeah, I missed out. And this was a pretty good one. Well, definitely one of my first on the album. Coming back to it, got it.
Funny enough, Wild Thoughts is my number two. First of all, I love that he sampled Maria Maria with Carlos Santana. I love that he sampled that. I like that he took a classic and flipped it and made it kind of new and modern. That's one thing. I'm not a Bryson Tiller fan. And so when I heard him on it, I was like, oh, and he came in strong too. He did not take away the flow. Rihanna like kicked off the song, and she basically, like, if it was just her, it still would have been a good song. But he definitely elevated the song as well, having like a male counterpart on it.
Right.
And overall, I like the creativity of it. It's not a song I would thought he would do, but you know what? It was okay.
I mean, there's a lot of people on this album I thought that they're doing something that they wouldn't really do. So
Yeah.
I feel like this is definitely a place where like, okay, Mike, you got proven wrong. They can definitely pull this off.
Your number two?
My number two will go to Good Man by with Pusha T and Jadakiss. This song, like, I'm so glad it came on when it did, because I think, what was it? It came right after Major Bag Alert, which I'll talk about in a second. Which I wasn't, well, but basically, I'm gonna sum it up. I wasn't really a big fan of that song, and it kind of like drew me out of the album for a second. But then this came on. I saw the names on the song. I was like, Pusha T and Jadakiss. There's no way in hell this can't work. And you're damn sure I was right. Like Pusha T and Jadakiss made a lyrical record right here. Also credit to DJ Khaled for putting everything together. Eating my words tonight, guys. Putting everything together as well as you did, because I like the song a lot. And they honestly almost made my number one, but I'll get to my number one in a second though.
Okay. So my number one is actually Unchanging Love, which is the last song on the album with Movado. I felt like this was a perfect song. It was well produced, the lyrics, and it was like a good way to end the album. And then after that, there's a little thing with Aside, but if we're talking about songs, I think this is a good last song of the album. I really liked it, so I had to give it my number one. Like, I had no complaints about the song. So that's why I took the top spot. What's
Yeah.
your number one?
See, that's pretty interesting. That's want to talk about that for a second. Well, that's why one of the comment. I rarely hear anything from Mavado these days. Like I know he's still making music. It's just that I think that's one of them things you gotta like dig around to find.
Well,
But
yeah, I think because reggae isn't as big as it used to be.
yeah. But okay, so move on to my number one, and I know this is probably popular opinion here, or maybe it's unpopular opinion. Who knows? But it's actually "Shining" with Jay and Beyonce. Um, I like the song. Beyonce sounded great on it. It's my first time hearing the song when I first went through the album today. Jay did good. But when you put Beyonce next to anyone, it's like I know I'm like asking here, but like I'm sorry, but like Beyonce pretty much like elevates anything she's on pretty much, and she did a really good job of that. And I think it's really for me one of the sleeper songs on this album too. 'Cause I feel like it's not a Beyonce song, I can tell, but the chemistry that she has with like her, Jay Z, and whatever they have with DJ Khaled, everything kind of went together, and it felt like something new that definitely could use them both on it and like actually work together well. So
Yeah, I did like the Shining as well. I don't know. I didn't have a problem with the song. It was very decent. I think if Jay Z's part was better, it would have been higher on my list. So I think Beyonce did really good, but I didn't really feel Jay Z's verse that well. Honorable mention actually was Good Man. I thought it was the most lyrical song on the album, besides that one with Nas. Well, only Nas' part, I should say, was lyrical.
Yeah.
Travis Scott was not lyrical at all.
No.
And I even put a comment, which is the song "It's Secure," and I said Nas saved that song because without him, that would have been a really garbage song.
Yeah.
But Nas was on most of it, so that's why I was like, I still ranked it a little bit higher. Another honorable mention I have is "I Love You So Much" with Chance the Rapper.
I agree.
It's repetitive, but it actually it had meaning. I didn't expect Chance the Rapper just to sing on it, but I like that it was a tribute to DJ Khaled's son, and Chance is talking about his daughter. So I really liked that song. And then I had actually both the interludes on this album. Thought was really good as well. They're not real songs, especially the second interlude where that guy was rapping, Belly, I believe. Very one of the best verses on the entire album. And then the first one with the girl singing, her voice was freaking amazing.
Right. Yeah. The gospel song was pretty much put on.
She caught my attention almost immediately. Do I have any else honorable mentions? No. Do you have any honorable mentions?
Yep, and going on, just piggybacking on your interlude, I'll give it one of my honorable mentions to the intro actually, because one I don't hear of. I know maybe it's just not me keeping up with reggae, but Sizzler was pretty good on the intro. Like he wasn't doing his like super hardcore reggae on this one. He introed it a lot slower pace than he usually does for his own music, but I feel like it really went wrong. It really worked well. Another honorable mention I have is On Everything. Now one thing I got to say about this album in general is there's a lot of use of autotune. And I'm growing out of my autotune phase. I almost it makes my ear bleed sometimes depending on who uses it. But On Everything with Travis Scott, Rick Ross, and Big Sean. Travis Scott, he was all right. I don't really have any complaints about it, but I don't really think he elevated anything that anyone else didn't do. But I feel like Rick Ross and Big Sean definitely carried everything on this song right here. Let's see, what else? Oh, Nobody with Alicia Keys and Nicki Minaj. I was in this song for Alicia Keys, to be honest, and I feel like it was very, very well done by her as usual. And Nicki Minaj was in there, and she did good. I have no complaints. It's one of the things I don't know. I'm in this weird like bougie phase where I'm like I have no complaints about it, but it wasn't as good as the person who did make the song better. So that's kind of where my head is. And I don't know why I'm being so picky, but that's kind of where I'm standing on that. And yeah, those are actually my three honorable mentions.
Now I hate it On Everything. So when you said that, I was like, no, I hate that song.
I wasn't mad at it.
Like that's actually on the list of like one of the worst songs on the album for me. Obviously, listen for yourselves. But there is nothing about that song I actually like. And if I never heard it again, I would be completely fine. I didn't give it like a 0 or anything. I'm like, it had somewhat good parts. Like it was well produced, and I liked Rick Ross part. I didn't like Travis Scott or Big Sean at all on this record. And then talking about Nobody, I've had a lot of issues lately with how Nicki delivers her raps. Like I feel like she's getting lazy. But I actually think she wasn't really lazy on this. I just think Alicia Keys happened to be better. She like for the first time in a long time, I thought Nicki Minaj delivered raps, but it's going to back. Like when Nicki Minaj first came out, I didn't like her solo. I only liked her feature on records, and now I'm like transitioning back to where I don't like any of her solo hits, but I like when she's on other people's tracks. I hope that changes back to where I start liking her by herself. But I think without Alicia Keys, it would probably just be an alright song. Let's go down the list. I guess we talked about It's Secure, but do you have anything to say about it? The one with Nas and Travis Scott?
I was just happy to see Nas there. Like, I feel like it's a weird combination to put him with Travis Scott because it's one of them things where it's like an old school rapper who was pretty much cemented in everyone's mind as one of the best in who was ever to be in the game for like a while. And then there's Travis Scott, who's like I don't even know how to describe Travis Scott, to be honest. But I feel like it's just not one of them things that has good chemistry with Nas, to be honest.
Yeah,
I feel like it was just a weird placement putting them two together.
Yeah, and honestly, you can tell who's it's about a rapper from, and that's kind of bad. You kind of want them to be equal, but from this you can actually tell. Even though I think Travis' purpose in this song was just to carry like the chorus.
Yeah, probably.
Another one, we talked about that. Yeah, just talk about that. Don't Quit. Now that had Travis Scott, Calvin Harris, and Jeremiah. I half liked this song. I was feeling it for a little bit, and then it just completely lost me on the second part of the song. I was just like, I don't really know what I'm listening to. And I'm having issues with Travis Scott. Because honestly, the beat is what made me even consider this song.
Yeah.
And there was too much auto-tune in it.
Yeah.
And it was from him. And Jeremiah, too. Because Jeremiah used auto-tune, and, he kind of needs it. No offense to Jeremiah fans. But, I don't know. Without the beat, I wouldn't have liked this song even a little bit. There was nothing in there. I don't know. What about you?
This song fell to the wayside for me. Like, I think this song is where I started to realize that autotune was gonna be a part of this album. I think maybe it might have been the third or fourth song that actually had autotune in it, and everything that had Travis Scott in it, which I think is like maybe 3 songs or so. I could be wrong.
No, he's all over this.
Yeah, he's in a bunch of places on this album. You're right, and I think everywhere that he was, there was some autotune. Like it just kind of bugged me a little because like you had Travis Scott here, you had and you had the combination of Future here, which also was in a few spots on this album, and I was like, they're both like really big autotune users, and whenever it came there, I was really hoping that whoever they got featured with carried the song, because I've really fallen out of autotune. And
I mean, my thing is, I've never had a problem with autotune because I still love T-Pain.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
There's a point, but people don't know how to use it in moderation anymore.
Yeah, people bank on it nowadays. That's a problem, and that's kind of what I see with like Travis Scott and obviously Future, because that's pretty much his career right there. But
I mean, Future, at least you know what his real voice sounds like. Travis Scott, like, there were points he sounded like a robot. And, like, it sounded like he was using more of the talk box than the autotune, which is very, very robotic. And then I Can't Even Lie with Future and Nicki Minaj. That's an okay song, but again, I had the same problem. There was too much autotune. Even Nicki Minaj used autotune in that song.
One thing I'll give to this song is I did really like the beat on it. Like, I Can't Even Lie, I did like the beat. But and it worked for me. I feel like I was also in this song for Nicki. Like I hate, like I don't know, I'm in this, like I said, I'm in this weird phase where I'm like making a competition of everyone who's on one record, and Nicki was the one who won this competition. Like maybe it's a bias because she wasn't using autotune, but I feel like
No, she was on this record.
No, I'm sorry, I might have said that wrong. I might have been biased because she was not using autotune on this record. Was that what I meant to say? Because I know Future was using autotune.
No, they both were using autotune on the record.
Well, maybe it might have went by me, but like it didn't bother me as well when Nicki Minaj used it. But
yeah,
when I heard Future, again, I think I was already at a phase where I'm like getting pulled out. So I was like, screw it. The beat was nice enough to keep me interested.
Next one, Down for Life, that had Future, Rick Ross, Travis Scott, Party Next Door. Now, I barely remember Rick Ross on this album, and I don't like the other 3. So I didn't expect to like this song. It's okay. It has a good beat. It's decent. If it came on the radio, would I turn it off? No. But it's forgettable in my opinion. I could just not have this song on the album and be completely fine.
See, I found it interesting because it had like so many names on it, like Travis, Future, Rick Ross, and Party Next Door. I'm not really big on Party Next Door. I know maybe they may be little to zero. 'Cause I know they're on the Drake album as well, but I feel like Rick Ross was not the only thing I wanted to listen to on this record right here, and that's really how I feel like actually all the songs with Rick Ross on. Now I think about it, he did pretty good for me. I like they weren't like amazing, but I feel like when he got put in there, he wasn't like on the negative side of the scale for me to take away anything from the song.
Okay. Yeah, he was okay. Major Bagler. Now here's the thing, cause Mike's about to trash it. Here's the thing. He hates Migos.
Yep.
I do not hate them. I'm just not sure how long they're going to last because a lot of their songs sound the same. And honestly, I still think their best song is Bad and Bougie. I heard the album. I wasn't a fan of it. Major Bagler is catchy, but it's a dumb ass song. And in most of the song, they're going Major Bagler. That's literally all they're doing in like 90% of the song. It's repetitive. There's no real creativity. There's no lyricism. But it is still catchy, and I could see it being played in like clubs and shit everywhere. But yeah, I actually would put it as one of the worst songs on this album. What about you?
I mean, you don't want me to start talking about this one. Like, I really just didn't like the song at all. Like, the catchiness to you was annoying to me. Like, I felt like it was in my head for the wrong reason. It wasn't like the good kind of catchy to me. I feel like it's one of them things I wanted, like, when you hear an annoying song, you can't get it out of your head because it got played too much. This song felt like it was on repeat, even though I listened to it one time because of how much
they repeated the title.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm over this song.
A lot of catchy songs go like that.
Yeah, but their songs
good catchy and there's bad. Yeah.
Right. They exist, and this falls into the bad camp, and that's pretty much where I lie on that one.
That's all you had to say. No ranting.
Nope. Yeah, I'm keeping it short because I ain't gonna beat a dead horse on it, so I may as well move on.
Okay. Billy Ocean, Fat Joe, and Raekwon.
Hell yeah! This is also an honorable mention for me. I completely overlooked this. This was pretty cool. I like the song.
Fat Joe, ever since he came back out with Remy Ma and stuff on their album, which by the way, their album's really good. He's been up there with like one of my favorite rappers. His bars has been better than a lot of these new rappers out here. Mm-hmm. And Raekwon is just legend. Yeah. Right. So I like the feel of this song. I'm not even really sure about the title, but I don't care. There was a lot of good bars in the song. I have no complaints, actually. It was just like, I wanted it to be longer because I was into it, and then it just ended, and I was like, okay.
And I liked it too, because like it came like I mentioned Major Bag Alert being followed by Good Man, and I was like, yeah, Good Man brought me back into the album. And then Billy Ocean followed it, and I was like, hell yeah, consistency. It's back to back good songs again, and I was okay with that. So yeah, that's really where I fall with Billy Ocean.
Okay. Pull a Caper. No, just no. No, I wouldn't say just no. I said it was like a 7, but again, it would come on, I'd be like, okay. But it had Kodak Black, which I'm not a fan of.
Same.
It had Gucci Mane, which I'm still not a fan of. I don't hate him as much, and he's one of those people, again, where I was talking about Nicki, I only like when she's featured on songs nowadays. It's the same thing as Gucci Mane. I only like him when he's on other people's records, and that's been his entire career. I have never liked a solo Gucci Mane song ever. Then you have Rick Ross again. He's actually the better part of this record.
That's pretty much what I had down here too. Like Rick Ross was pretty much the only thing that brought me into the song. I think everything else pulled me out. Like I'm not a Gucci's pretty big on trap, and to his credit, he does good trap when here and there. I'm not big enough to big on him enough to even name where the good trap is, but I just know that his early stuff when he first came out, like what was it like? Maybe it wasn't trap at the time, but like one of the cornier ones, like Lemonade, like that was a fun one to listen to.
Did you see his
and the one he did with Swiss Beats, Turn the Lights On or whatever it was?
Did you see the one where it was like, in his video he was wearing a sombrero?
No.
Oh my god, that shit was so funny. Like I saw, cause I watched like these reaction videos, so they were doing the try not to rap challenge, and that Gucci Mane song, and he came out with a sombrero. Everyone freaking laughed. He looked ridiculous. I think he had like a bright red suit too. I don't know what the hell that song is, but it's freaking hilarious. If you don't know the song, you just listen to it, you're like, what the fuck is this? Going on a tangent, but that was like the last time I've heard a Gucci Mane song. And that's a recent one, but he looked ridiculous in the video. And then next is that Range Rover comes with steps. Did I say that right?
That Range Rover comes with steps. Yep.
What the fuck was the song? It was
Future
featuring
and Yo Gotti. Yep.
Okay, I don't like Yo Gotti or like I'm partial to Future. If Future was on and I had an option to listen to someone else, I would pick someone else. But he's not the worst of the worst. But this song, I don't know how I feel about it. It's not. It's like a typical song. It's not memorable, but it's not like the worst song I've heard on this album.
That's pretty much what I can say about it too. Like it just fell by the wayside for me. Like you have so many jewels on this one that you're gonna just overlook the mud. And I know I'm calling it mud and it sounds bad, but I'm not a fan of this one. Like Yo Gotti, I know a little about him other than the whole DM song and Future, Auto Tune City right there. And
the only song I like by Yo Gotti is 5 Star, and that's the
right 5-star chick. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the regular one, and I like the remix.
Yeah, I like Nicki's one on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Nicki, Trina, and I think there was one more person, but I don't know. That was a really good mix. Other than that, I've never been a fan of Yo Gotti.
Same.
But I like a lot more songs by Future. That's why I said, like, at least out of those two, I like him better. One song I really hate was Iced Out My Arms, which was T.I., Amigos, 21 Savage, and Future. I hate everyone on this record but T.I., but T.I.'s been slacking for a long time.
Right, yeah.
And this is another song where I was like, it's catchy, but dumb as hell. And then it was to the point where it was like, it went from catchy to the straight up annoying to like, this is a bad song. So I really ranked it probably as one of my worst songs on the album.
Same. I thought T.I. could have carried it, but I feel like,
he was rapping like them though on this record.
That's I was just about to get to that. Like, like I was like, okay, 3 of the guys who got named on this what's the name? Who was it again? What's the name?
Migos, 21 Savage, and Future.
21 Savage, Future. Not a big fan of any of them.
Well,
and I was like, damn, T.I. is here. He can save them. But then, like, I think it was just like mob mentality where it's like, all right, shit, we all sound like this, so maybe you can sound like this too. And I
think T.I.'s normal rap flow would not have worked with the beat though. The beat was built for the other guys, not really him.
Yeah, I feel like something could have been isolated by Khaled to make him, flow with the song a little better.
I know that's
like sometimes like people adapt to what the songs that they're getting placed in, and the producer will accommodate that.
Yeah, Kanye does that all the time on his records.
That's a perfect example. But I don't think
he did not do that.
Yeah, T.I. didn't really like. He just used what they had, and I don't think T.I. needs what they have. Like T.I. is fine doing what T.I. does.
Yeah.
But he tried to do what they do, and that's not, I just felt like that was garbage.
Well, I think he was kind of forced to. Like,
I mean, yeah, I imagine. I'm not blaming him at all. Just.
Yeah, I mean, there was no way he could rap his normal way with that beat.
Right.
Unless they altered it a little bit for his part. Kind of like what I think Kanye does on Mercy. He changes the beat for his verse.
That's what I mean, right.
But they didn't do that here, so it was kind of hard. Okay. Now, the worst song on this album.
Here we go. Whoa, whoa.
Is Whatever. And that it has Future, Young Thug, Rick Ross, and 2 Chainz. Everyone was bad on this record. And it was way too much autotune.
Oh my god. This was autotune overkill. The freaking chorus. Holy shit. If you have bad autotune, leave it to the verse. Do not make a bad autotune in the chorus that I have to hear repeatedly. And then give it to Young Thug. Whose idea was this?
Anyway. Why was the fadeaway though?
Oh my gosh, this pissed me off. I heard. I was like, what was that? I think I was like, making a mess in the kitchen while listening to the song. And then like I had to like get taken out of what I was doing just to look around and make sure I wasn't like tripping. Like this is an actual song, like on an album.
It's you know what? It's a ratchet ass song, and I know people love it, but it's a stupid song. It's the only song out of all of these like albums we did that I literally gave 0. I could not find anything I liked about it. I didn't like Rick Ross. I don't know what the hell 2 Chainz was trying to say. Future, no. Young Thug, he used so much autotune, I barely understood what he was saying. I barely understand when he, talks normal. But I just no.
You know how some adults they say when they hear it sounded like his auto tune was bad dubstep. That's what I really hear when I heard Young Thug on the chorus. Because I know when some adults hear dubstep, they're like, "Why does it sound like what they call them again? A vinyl record is getting like scratched up in a bad way on the player." It sounds like that with Young Thug's voice that you can't understand his word. Like oh my goodness. Burn the vinyl record and the record player, and then the problem will be solved. Because this didn't help this album in any way. Like I thought it would help by name. Cause I figured, all right, maybe it'd be one of them good Ratchet songs. But then it was auto tune overkill. You left the chorus to Young Thug, and the song just wasn't saved by anything.
I don't even know if that was Young Thug or Future, because they were both using a lot. I'm sorry,
you're right. You're right.
So I could not even tell.
That is true. I might be placing the blame in the wrong spot here, but whoever had the chorus,
they both to blame.
Yeah, none of them really said the song either way, but whoever had the chorus, that didn't work.
That's just that. Yeah, that song was actually the worst song I've ever heard out of all these albums. I could not.
Yeah, I would actually say that in the how many episodes? 23.
Yep, this is our 23rd episode. Yes.
Out of the 23 episodes we've done, this might be in the Hall of Fame. Or Hall of Shame for the worst song on the early album we've ever done so far.
I was just over this song. I tried to give it a chance, and then it just pissed me off.
We need to make a whole podcast about how I can do, at least by myself. I can make a whole podcast about how much I did not like this song, but we're going to move forward before that actually happens.
Yeah. We talked about the last two,
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we did that. We're at the end. Overall, I would give this album, actually, I would give it a B+. Because there was a lot of things I liked about this album. But there's also a lot of songs I hated as well. But the good things I like really kept this album from not just being failure to me. Like, it had Nas was great, Fat Joe was great, Raekwon was great.
Pusha T, Fat Joe.
You know what we missed? One song. What is it? To the Max with Drake.
To the Max, that's right. How we forget Drake was... Yeah, okay, well...
That shows what it is. It's forgettable.
Yeah. I said my little note beside the song was it's alright. I didn't hate the song because I was like, I think I hold Drake to such a high standard now that I expected something more. Especially considering the all-star cast you have on this album. Like these are freaking all-stars here. And it's just like one of those songs. Like I feel like he could have done better. Maybe working with Jay and Bay on their song than by himself. I just don't think this really worked. You're right. We did miss a song.
It's alright. It's a forgettable song. Yeah. It's not the worst, obviously.
Right. If you have heard our opinions in the last few minutes, this is not the worst thing on this album.
Yeah, but I stand by that. I give it a B+. Because when it worked, it really worked.
That is true.
And then when it didn't, there was like some partials and then there was sometimes it would just crash, freaking burn. But I had a lot more good things to say, and it was like over 20 songs
right, I think in like total. 25, 24?
No, it was like 24, 23, around there.
Right.
So overall, Grateful, I say check it out. Solid B+ for me.
Hey, listen, there's going to be a few songs on this that you're going to actually want immediately. Like, I feel like a lot of these actually deserve radio play, which they obviously won't get. Maybe they will because, DJ Khaled can make some things work, but...
Yeah, Wild Thoughts and On The One have a video, and On Everything has a video, too.
Right. And I know... I'm okay with this album too, but I'm not gonna give it as high as a B+. To be honest, I'm probably gonna give it like a C+. Because I feel like what took me out of it a lot, and I know I'm badgering this to hell, but I'm out of auto-tune, guys. I'm exhausted from that. I sound like an old man reviewing. You know how old dudes talk about hip hop, like hip hop ain't the same no more, man. Everybody sound like a robot. I feel like a lot of this album I can relate to those old people. Like usually I don't, but I feel like this one is like evidence of maybe y'all were onto something. Because
you know what, honestly, what really brought this album down, I'm gonna put it on Travis Scott, because he was on a lot of records. Travis Scott and Future were on a lot of records, and I didn't feel like they elevated any of the songs they're on. Either they were just okay, or I was like, no, just no.
You see, I'd be okay. That sums it up pretty much well for me, because I think most of my gripes come from them as well. And I feel like what DJ Khaled was trying to do too. He was working with a range of things. Like there was it started off with like a reggae intro with no real reggae songs on it, but that's fine.
The last one.
I'm sorry, yeah, right, Movado, right? I'm sorry, but yeah, like he went with a lot of things. Like he went with like a bunch of trap, You know, he had the females doing their thing on it, like, you know, Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Alicia Keys. Everybody did great in my opinion. You know, Nicki Minaj was hit or missing here and there, but that was all right. She didn't really take away from the album for me. You know, you had the all star cast here regardless. Like, you had Rick Ross and, you know, Big Sean, like we said before, Fat Joe, Raekwon. We can go for days, and I was like, that is really where I'm
Pusha
banking on this.
T,
Right,
Jadakiss, Nas.
right. I mean, I feel like I can bank on who made this album for me to revisit the album in the future.
Yeah.
Because I actually do want a lot of songs off this album, and you have some good options here. But I feel like it's like, you know, tiptoeing around a bunch of landmines because my biggest gripe also, aside from the auto tune, was its consistency. Like, I feel like I had small pockets of things that I wanted to hear, followed by, and this is an opinion thing, so I know it's not a fact. I'm not, you know, this is very subjective here, but I felt like, you know, DJ Khaled was working with like a lot of range for the type of music he was trying to make, and a lot of it just didn't resonate with me.
I
And
actually
that's where I
thought
fall
like
with
the
that.
first 10 songs were very consistent. Even with Drake with To the Max, still very consistent because like it didn't take me out of it. I was just like, it's all right. I didn't hate the song.
Hmm.
And then after that, that's the second half where the inconsistency started happening. Like there was a part where I was just hating the next three songs after the second
Yeah.
half, and then I liked the next three. Then I hate it, and then I
Yeah.
liked the last two, so it wasn't consistent the second half. And that usually happens with like longer albums. I've noticed.
Right.
The only one that's ever been consistent was Russ.
Right.
He's the only one we've listened to.
Completely 100% agree.
Top, bottom, just consistency. So, if he was more consistent in the second half, yeah, that would have been a better album.
I agree. Couldn't say it better myself.
But overall, he produced the shit out of this album.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll
And I
definitely
kind of like that he has his son as an executive producer, because that baby don't know what the hell. But his name gonna be everywhere, and I like that his son is on the cover.
It's the same thing they did with Ivy. Like, yeah, Ivy had a song, but all she was doing was crying on it, and like, they were rapping over it. So I was like, okay, sure.
Assad didn't even do that.
Yeah, right. His name just on it. That's it.
Yeah, he executive produced it. No, but I like that he's doing that because it gives his son like a future.
Right.
Like he has a resume, which is
Right.
kind of crazy.
Right. Like 2 seconds after I was born, I was already producing music. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, but other than that,
Yep.
I think we've covered everything.
I think we hit all the bases here.
Yeah. So we're gonna close out this podcast episode number 23, guys. Woo, almost 30. So please leave your comments. You know, share our videos. Let other people know about us. We're on Facebook, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, all under Echo Underground Podcast. We're on Twitter at Echo U Podcast, so you could tweet us. Give us some suggestions. Leave comments on our multiple, like, I guess, how you say, sites that we're on.
Mhm.
And
Plenty of platforms to work with, guys.
yes, basically you can almost find us everywhere. And then we'll see you guys on the next episode.
See ya.
Bye.